make it, and send them to the board. So she was taken again to court, and the judges gave her another 4 months. So again there was appeal, and the sentence of 12 months total has been sustained again. So the legal profession in the United States was shocked. How can this thing happen? Well, the answer was, and I do not have the picture of this woman, and I thought I would find it on the internet. I couldn't find it. I searched for it, but I remember at that time I was in the States when I saw the picture of her in the television and also in the picture in the newspaper. This woman, she had such an angelic face. I don't say simply she was beautiful. She had such an angelic, innocent-looking face that you could not possibly believe that this woman has done such a thing. And the legal scholars and psychologists and neuroscientists and so on who analyzed the case, they concluded that she got such a mild sentence simply because she had an angelic, innocent-looking face. But that is serious. So they thought, could it really be that even judges and juries who are supposed to be unbiased and objective, could it be that the look of the person plays a role in the judgment? So there has been the commission study, the US Department of Justice committed a study to several universities, law schools, and they investigated the case. Oh, not this case, investigated the last 100-year legal history of the United States. You know what they found?
Other similar cases?
Not other.
All of them.
If you are tall and handsome like me, you get half the sentence that somebody who is not so tall and handsome. If you are skinny, you get lower sentence than if you are overweight. If you're white, you get 1/3 on the average the sentence that a black person gets. If you are young, you get less sentence than if you are old. And so on. If you are good looking, you get a much lower sentence than if you are not so good. Case after case after case. I mean, they studied thousands of cases. And they concluded that, fortunately, even with judges who are trained to be objective and to be colorblind, looks blind, and so on, the bias is there. So now in the United States, there are regulations. For example, every 2 years, a judge has to spend 2 months in the court of another judge who has different kind of clients, if you like. If, for example, a judge is in a town where most of the criminals are blacks, then every 2 years he has to go as a guest judge in a court just to watch, just to experience, in another court of a judge, where the majority of the criminals are white. In order to recondition, reset his subconscious self. And that's one of the strategies. Okay, you understand that? Yes.
And why, for example, they don't, you cannot see a person in the court. Mm-hmm. So you only can hear the voice and you cannot see. They could put him in whatever, somewhere where, so then there are no voice, they can't see the person.
There has been many such proposals. At least some many proposals, but at the end they are rejected that because even the expression of the person is important. There is a whole story about this. Yeah, but okay. So let's go to the next source of biases. Is in group favoritism. What is this? We tend to do more favors to those we know, and those we know tend to be just like ourselves. The same social class, race, religion, nationality, kumbari, circle, our friends, our relatives, right? Okay. Oh, I went backwards, sorry. Okay. Okay. Though not intentional, this amounts to discrimination. This is, what do you call this one in Cyprus? This is Rusfeti, right? This is Voleman. This is making favors. Okay? Call up the minister, you know, or the member of parliament, right? Okay? So, though not intentional, this is a discrimination, right? Why? Because if you favor your own, regardless of merit, you discriminate against others who have more merit, right? When those in the majority or in power allocate resources, jobs, promotion, loans to people just like them, effectively discriminate against those different from them. We give extra credit to membership of a particular group. Okay? All the Rusfeti, this is exactly what's happening. Evidence. Discriminatory lending. White officers, loan officers, tend to be lenient towards white mortgage applicants, while more readily reject equally unqualified black applicants. You see, yesterday in that little comedy I showed you about the subprime mortgage, the man, he was talking there about the black man in Alabama, in the house. But actually, the subprime mortgage crisis didn't happen because of the default of black people. Black people don't get any loans unless they are really, really very creditworthy, because they screen them to death. Were white. Most of them were white people. Actually, they did a following test in the US. They sent two people to the same bank with exactly the same qualifications. They only changed the picture. The one loan was approved for the white, for the black was rejected. Then they increased the income of the black person and his assets and so on by 20%. They sent them in. The white man with 20% less credit worthiness got the loan, the other man didn't. Then they increased it by 50%. Still the black man didn't get it. It came to be, they had to double it and more than double it for the black man to get the loan. They did the same thing with jobs. They sent CVs, okay, with the same CV, one with a black picture, black man, and the other with a white one. Again, you had to, the black man had to have a PhD to get the job, while the white man got it for a bachelor's. And those kind of things. Okay? So you can test all these biases. Okay. What are the consequences? Is the ethical cost? Is the erosion of the bottom line? Bad debt? Cost? Not of, okay, damage in publicity, discrimination lawsuits, and so on. Okay? Marginal hires, and so on. Now, let's go to the third. So up to now we have seen two sources of bias. The implicit prejudice, okay? And the second one is the in-group favoritism, favoring people like yourselves. The third one is over-claiming credit. Okay, what is this? This, we all have the tendency to, first of all, we believe that we are, do you know that 95% of the people consider themselves above average? 95% of the people consider themselves above average. How this can happen? Okay. Second, we overstate our individual contribution to group work and understate the contribution of others. Okay? And we have an overblown sense of entitlement. We think that we are entitled a lot more than we deserve, and a lot more than others, just like ourselves. We have what is called a tendency to overclaim credit for ourselves. And this, by the way, nothing wrong with this. This comes from the fact, where it comes from, this one?
I achieved
No?
experience.
No? No, it's come from nature. If we didn't have this, if you didn't have the self-preservation instinct, you wouldn't be able to cross the road. Because you run over by a truck. So again, this is something very useful, right? The same thing as the in-group favoritism. I mean, we protect our community, our friends, and so on, because they support us as well. There's a social support system. But it becomes bad when we use that to discriminate against others. The same thing as we used before, implicit associations is very helpful. But sometimes when we stereotype people, it gets bad. Here again, overclaiming credit comes from the fact that we love ourselves. We love ourselves more than anybody else because nature gave this to us in order to perpetuate the species. Otherwise, we run over by a truck if we don't take care of yourself, right? You just cross the road. Okay, but this sometimes leads us to some bad consequences, like to overclaim credit and to be unfair to others. Evidence. MBA students at Harvard, we did this as an experiment. And there's books written about this. Divided the class here, those are like this class, in groups of 5 people. And we gave a project to each group. They work on the project for a few days, then deliver the project as a group project, and then we ask them individually, not coinciding together, each to send us an email and tell us how much they contributed to the project. The contributions, when we sum them up of each group, it came between 120% to 250%. There was a group where the contributions of 5 people came to 250%. Is that possible? Yeah? Okay. No group's average came to less than 120%. For example, you have 5 people, here is 5 people. Angelo says, well, I contributed 30%. You know, the other people work, but Marina says, I contributed 30% too. Elena feels that she contributed 40%. Already you have 30, 60, and 40, what you call 100, nothing left for you guys. And Helen says, these guys, actually, they haven't done much. I did 50%, so 150, 150. And then Ali says, I was working day and night. I did 2/3 of the work, right? I did 70%. 150 and 70 is 220 already, right? There's a strategy to solve this problem, like all the others. We'll give you the strategies for all this. But you see, overclaiming credit. Now, tell me, which group you think will last longer? The one whose members' stated contribution is 120, or the ones whose stated contribution is 200? 120. Why? Because these people have better appreciation for the contribution of the other team members, right? While the others feel that they are cheated. They don't appreciate the contribution of others. So as you know, teamwork is very important. And you have to appreciate the contribution of your team members. Right? Yes. Let's see another example here. Academic authors. People who write a book.
Yeah.
If you ask them, again, their contribution ends up coming to more than 100%. Business partners. And the one you are familiar with, sports teams. Okay? You see, some teams, you see when the player scores, he jumps around and, while some other teams, they celebrate together. Okay? There's more team spirit. Okay? Have you seen the the video about team spirit? Have you? It's a little bit, do I have the permission to show it to you? It's a little bit spicy. Any objection? Let's see if I can. Have you seen it, anybody? Okay, maybe you have seen it, but let's see. No, this one. How do you read?
Go to the left.
Go to the left.
No, in the middle.
In the middle, right here. But I want to go to YouTube. To YouTube. Okay, I want to go to YouTube. Okay, YouTube. Okay, YouTube. Okay. Teamwork. Let's see. Team. Teamwork.
That's spicy.
What?
Money. You see it?
Teamwork, okay. I think I have it also here. Let's see how I. Let's see if I can get it from here. You see it here? Huh? Arrange by type. Where is my type? Okay. Let me see. Let's go get the personal. Another one. Arrange by type. Sorry, I cannot find it. Teamwork, but no, from Teamwork PowerPoint. Let me see if it's here.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Yes.
This one? Open. Okay.
Ah, see it.
You have seen it, okay.
Got a line, mate. Sorry, I finished. So that's okay. I finished. Me too.
Okay, teamwork. Can you put the light on, please? I told you my intention is to have fun here. Okay, where we are here. Okay, oh, it's not this one. Okay. Okay. Okay, what are the consequences? The consequences of the overclaiming credit? There are first that the more the sum of the claims exceeds 100%, the less the parties want to collaborate in the future. You can predict whether a team will hold together, whether a joint venture will hold together, whether a partnership will hold together. You can even predict whether a team will win a game or even the championship by looking at how they behave. Whether they celebrate their successes as a team or as individuals. If you see a team where someone achieves a goal and feels that he's the one who did it and the rest are just extras there, then that team is not. And you remember Korkapen, actually, people who remember Korkapen to Anorthosis when he was in the champion, in the what was it, in the Euro championship, because I am not a football person, but I happened to meet Gaspaya on a flyer. I didn't even know who he was. I just remember, I thought that I saw him somewhere. Anyway, and invited him to talk to the MBA students several years ago. And to my comment that Anorthosis must have had the best team, the best players to be playing in the Euro, what is that? Champions League. He pointed out to me that he didn't have the best players, but he had the best team. And I said to him, "You confuse me. If you have the best players, you have the best team. You have the best team, you have the best players." He says, "No. It's completely different." Then explained to me that it's not the individual players so much, it's how they fit together as a team. So I said, it's a great idea. I'm going to talk to the MBA students. And he says that he promised me, he says, "I promise you I will come. I cannot fix it now, but I promise you I will do it." I said, "Where?" He said, "When we win the championship." The Champions League. Anyway, I saw him a month later at the Chateau Strauss in Nicosia, and I said to him, "How is it going?" This conversation I told you before they play with Bayern Germany, something. Bayern Monaco. Anyway. Huh?
Chelsea maybe?
No, it's a German team. Bremen. Yeah, okay, Bremen. So you know that I don't know anything about teams, okay? But he told me, no, we are no longer a team. A month later, you remember they had a big fight between themselves, and then they start being defeated time after time, and then so he says, "We are no longer a team." He says, "No, what to do?" He says, "Everything fell apart." Remember they start fighting the president. It's interesting how, okay, overclaimers of credit reduce their contribution to compensate. The people who feel that they compensate more, contributed more than they're getting credit for, reduce their contribution. Okay. Overclaiming credit reduces the longevity of groups, the lasting of the groups. Okay. And within organizations and partnerships, and people get resentful that they didn't get the promotion they deserve, they didn't get the raise they deserve, and their performance falls. We come now to the last source of biases, the conflict of interest. We talked about it yesterday. Just very quickly, if it's explicit, we call it corruption. Or if it's implicit, it's we call it unintentionally skewed decision making. Evidence, lawyers almost always encourage clients to settle out of court. Do you have a lawyer here? Anyone? So why do you tell always your clients, settle? Always. You go with the best case. And they encourage you the first time you meet them, they encourage you to have a great case and so on, until you give them the case. And when you give them the case, a few weeks later they tell you that, why don't you settle? They call the other lawyer and they arrange for a settlement. Why? Why the lawyers tend to encourage their clients to settle out of court? Huh?
Save money and time.
Save money and time. Huh?
If you go to the court, there's possibility 50-50, win loss.
Right, the
But
first.
settlement, it means that both parties get something and both lawyers get bonuses.
Yes, and they get it right away. Even if they get less, they get today. Rather wait 2-3 years until the case go to court and maybe and so on. Okay, so and this is become part of the. It's ingrained in them because part of their DNA of the lawyers. Without thinking about it, they tend to tell you to settle out of court. Take the brokers. What did you hear here yesterday? What do they tell you? Buy, sell. Why they do that? Even when the price of the stocks is expected to fall, they tell you buy. Even when the price of the stocks is expected to rise, they tell you to sell. Why? Because they got commission based on transactions. If you don't move your stocks, right? You have to.
I don't like buying and holding.
They want you to buy and sell. While Warren Buffett, the richest man in the world, tells you that what you should do is buy the stocks, good stocks, and keep them for a very long time. And never ask a broker
What to do?
whether to buy stocks. Like the same way as you never ask, he says, you never ask a barber if you need a haircut. You never ask a barber if you need a haircut. Because always they tell you need a haircut. Right? Correct? And also it says to anxious people who want to make money quickly, tell them this, that if you want to have a baby, you marry a woman and you wait for 9 months. You cannot have a baby in 1 month by marrying 9 weeks. Now, there is a book which I suggest that every one of you should read. It's a very small book. It's written by Warren Buffett's and strange daughter-in-law. One of Warren Buffett's sons is called Peter. He was married with this lady, and they divorced. But the woman, he so admired he admired so much her father-in-law that he wrote this book. I give you the title. This book has exactly 100 pages. Each page has one saying of Warren Buffett.
Is the quote that he has?
One quote, and below it, a comment. The one says, if you want to have a baby, you wait for 9 months. And she explained. And the other one, never ask a barber for a haircut. And below has a paragraph. It's good to read it before you go to bed. But it's all his philosophy. Okay, all his philosophy is called the Tao. Where is the? We have it's called the Tao of Warren Buffett. The Tao. The Tao. T-A-O of. You can find it in your iPad or iPhone or whatever. Warren Buffett. The Tao of Warren Buffett. Okay. It has so much wisdom about business. If you learn, you understand all this that he's saying there, you may become a billionaire too. Or not billionaire, billionaire. Yes.
There is just a book went out recently. It's a bestseller now. It's about how buyers are getting out decisions. I'll drink on Saturday.
Yeah.
I just forgot the name.
How
the bias affect decisions of people. So it describes the most common bias which affect our decisions.
Okay, very good. And this is a good point that Irina makes. Try to create value, try to contribute. Usually students, and I encourage you,